have a complicated relationship with roses. I go through these stages where I either love them or I want to love them, but it's not working out. About 5 years ago, maybe 6, I sort of swore off roses. I just said they're not worth the hassle. And I don't grow particularly high maintenance roses like hybrid teas or anything. I just think it's a bit of a challenge in our climate. So I'm in zone 5B, and many roses are hardy here. But I do feel like the winter hardiness is a challenge. And I also think that my sort of well-draining sandy soil can be a bit of an issue. I think they want something that's got a little bit more bulk to it, which is not to say I couldn't change that, but do I want to? So I've gone through these phases with roses. And 3 or 4 years ago, I put in 5 or 6 on-wick roses from David Austin, and they're beautiful. And the problem with roses is that they always decline for me. Like the first year is great, and then it just kind of gets worse from there. So something's going on, right? So I'm going to show you those roses in a little bit here because they're not looking good. And we did not have a hard winter, and they were protected. So I don't know what happened. I think maybe I didn't keep up on the watering enough with them last summer. That's possible. So just as I'm sort of on the verge of saying, I don't know, I think I'm done with roses, Proven Winners goes and sends me samples of 4 new roses that are coming out next year, but you can pick them up actually. I think Garden Crossings has most of these this year. So they're an online and in-person nursery in Michigan, and you can check there if you're really hot to get one of these. So I thought, okay, now the good news with the Proven Winners roses is that they really are low maintenance roses. You don't have to do a lot to them, which is great. So I want to show you these 4 roses that they sent, because one of the little perks of doing these videos is that every once in a while I get sent trial plants that are not out yet, and that's sort of fun, and I like to share that with you guys. So I'm going to go through these and show you what's happening. This one actually was nice enough to flower for us. This is Ringo Double Pink. Now they've got a series of Ringo roses. I grew one last year, I think the original Ringo. It did really well for me, and I really liked it. So zone 4 to 8, I love seeing, as a zone 5 gardener, I love seeing a rose that's hardy to a zone below me, because I always feel like that's like an added little cushion. 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, and it has sort of double kind of lighter pink flowers. I think this is faded a little bit with this dark pink center. So that's actually going to go over by the on-wick roses in the circle garden, but I'll show you that in a minute. So next up is Reminiscent Crema. And this is like don't think of a landscape rose where you're going to be like, oh, it blooms, but is it like really a rose? No, this baby has scent. It's got a ton of petals. It's full. It's pretty. This one is sort of fragrance of an old-fashioned rose, they say. So I just love, I don't like to sacrifice the fragrance. I mean, I really feel like if you're going to grow a rose, it better have fragrance, because that's at least 50% of the deal, right? 1.5 to 3 feet tall, 2 feet wide. Moist, well-drained soil, the same thing you want with all roses. Zone 4 to 9 on this guy. Then we have 2 roses that can be grown as climbers, or they can be grown as shrub roses. The first one is Rise Up Amberness, and this is, they say, now in the tag it says 3 to 5, but I've also seen it listed as, by the way, that's height, 3 to 5 feet tall. I've seen it listed as 4 to 6 feet tall too. But somewhere in there, 2 to 3 feet wide. You can see this one's going up, and we do have some nice buds on this. This is what I like, really fragrant flowers on this, so that's a big plus for me. And it has these kind of amber flowers. And actually, I think the flowers look very much like the sunset, autumn sunset. I think that's the name of it, rose, climbing rose that I have along the house. And I'm actually gonna plant this one with it, because I think this one, that one gets like flowers towards the top kind of. I think this one's going to fill in at the bottom a little bit. So I'm going to actually put that one right with that, because it's not tall enough to stand on its own over there, but I think the 2 of them combined might be really pretty, and I think they're going to look really similar actually. And then this one is Rise Up Lilac Days, and it's the prettiest kind of bluey lilac color. And this is 5 to 8 feet tall and 2 to 4 feet wide. So that one's a bit bigger. And both of these are zones 4 to 9. So nice zone 4 hardy roses. I'm pretty excited about all these. Now I have a place for 3 of these. I don't know where I'm going to put this Rise Up Lilac. So leave me a comment and tell me where you think I should plant this, because I'm all ears. I'm not going to plant this one today. The rest of them are growing in the ground today, but I'm not sure where this one's going to go yet. So we'll just have to wait and see. So this is probably the healthiest looking of these David Austin roses I have over here. There's a fair amount of growth coming. Here's a few buds and things. It's early, but you get to this one, that's just sticks. This one has one cane with good growth, and then there's some stumps at the bottom that have a bit of growth. This has, as far as I can tell, one tiny little bud on the whole thing. This one isn't doing too bad. And this last one over here, once again, has just one little set of leaves on it. So they're not doing well. I was envisioning this whole corner to be just full, like not being able to see the soil. The roses would be so thick, and that has never happened. So I haven't given up on the idea of roses in this area, maple seedling. But I'm sick of having just sporadic performance out of them. So since this one is definitely a goner, I'm going to give this double Ringo a try here. And if this one can perform, I would think about replacing all of them. Now this is another pink. It'll fit in just fine with the other pink ones here. And I know that there's some rose adage that you're never supposed to plant another rose where there had been a rose. And I have no idea what that's about, but I'm going to call that bullpucky and move on with it. Well, not exactly like a lot of roots to worry about there. I don't think it was ever that happy. This is pretty nice soil in here. I've amended it over the years quite a bit, but I am going to add in a little bit of planting compost. So this is the Organic Mechanics compost blend, and it's got compost and all kinds of other good stuff in it. This is what I top off my raised beds in the vegetable garden with, but throw a little bit of that into the hole. By the way, I almost never add anything other than the native soil to a hole with a shrub or a tree. Roses are special. We've covered that. Okay. This is one of these little root zone feeder packs goes in there. And I'm going to fill that hole, make sure it's nice and moist in the hole. So for containerized roses, I always plant them at the level they were at the pot. For bare root roses, I do plant them a touch deep. Usually I grow own root roses only. I feel like they do better. But not necessarily, clearly. Okay, there we go. So we are near the path to the garage, and over here is the Ringo rose. This one is looking really healthy. 2 canes that survived. Both of whom look really healthy. Nice foliage on them. And that bloomed really nicely. And down here we've got White Wands, Veronica, which fills in this area. And then I think this is Hans Rieder geranium down here, a little purple feathery thing that's kind of seeds around, which is appreciated and wonderful. So I'm going to put this Renaissance crema right over here in this corner. This little path that you see here is sort of the little dog path to get out to the terrible grass once again. And I think I'm going to tuck it in there. I've done something different in this little corner every year. And this, I'm hoping to land on something a little bit more permanent here so I don't end up having to plant this every single year. And in fact, I'm thinking about revamping this bed in front of this terraced wall a little bit this year. It's kind of been a place where I've sort of plunked things over the year, and I think it's time to deplunk. Oh, there is one rose over here that's actually doing well. So this right here is a Crown Princess Marguerite climbing rose, which I had its partner in the vegetable garden originally. That one died. You know how that goes. You buy 2 of something and one of them always dies. So I brought it over here and I've been bending these canes kind of along the wall. Need to sort of stake that one down. But actually, this one, which had no winter protection other than some mulch around its roots, is actually looking really quite good. Maybe the heat off the wall helped it a little. And this is an Oh So Easy rose, but I don't know which one. Probably Peachy Keen or Honey Bun, one of those two. So the planting procedure is exactly the same over here, except I went and got gloves, so that's different. And I'm throwing in a little bit more of that compost blend because I have not amended this soil as much over the years as I have over there in the circle there. A little feeder pack. Now there are poppies growing in this area, or poppies that I've seeded in this area. So I'm sure there will be poppies that pop up around it. In fact, I can see some right there. So there'll be some poppies that join this year and for future years. There we go. So before I show you where this rose is going, I just want to show you the little friend who's hanging out here today. But it sort of looks like an amorphous blob, but it's a gray tree frog who has just been sitting on this trellis soaking up the sun today. He's really cute. They will turn green later in the year, but right now he's almost silver. He's so gray. All right, again, I apologize for the reflection, especially off the White House. But, and you can see, we've got a bit of a mess happening on the patio. I am not going to plant this in this video. I'm going to clean that area up and then plant it, but you get the planting idea. It is in the spot where I'm going to plant it, and then I'll sort of train it up this trellis. This is the rose that I put the little body bag around this year, and it fared. I've already pruned it and sort of trained it. There's a few stems where I wasn't sure if things were going to develop or not, and so I've left those, but it's actually looking really good. I'd say it fared just as well, if not better, than it does when I do the thing where I tip it over and lay it in the bed. And then I've sort of tried to bend the canes because, you know, on climbing roses, the flowers they grow straight up. So if you've got horizontal-ish branches, you're going to get more flowers. So that's the goal there. All right, well, you've seen where 3 of them are going to go. Now we're left with this one, and this is the Rise Up Lilac Days. And I want to know where you guys think I should plant this one. Many of you might suggest that I would have planted it with the other one. And I'll tell you why I didn't do that. It's because this lilac color is beautiful, but it does limit your color palette a little bit because I think there are some colors that it absolutely will not work with. And I like to plant that border with I don't like to be limited on what I plant there because every year I like to change it up. I also plant all my tall dahlias along there. And so those colors have a wide range, which is why I've always chosen that sort of that yellow rose there, is because I feel like that color fits in with basically everything else. And so you're not limiting yourself in terms of what you can grow with that, which I think this growing there would limit that a little bit. So let me know in the comments where you think this should go. And you can't say your house. And hang out and keep watching these, and let's see how these grow this year. I have no doubt they're going to do great this summer. Every rose does great the first year for me. I think the real test will be what do they look like next year. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for gardening with me today. Hope you guys are having a great day in your garden. We'll see you soon.